How's it going, everybody? Thanks for watching. Thought I'd get back in my pickup. It's kind of windy today. It's Tuesday today, May 6th or something. We're working at tilling up our alfalfa field here. We had originally planned to go one more year with the alfalfa, but last year, I don't know if you guys remember, if you've been watching for a while, we had a lot of rain last year. Quite a bit of acres drowned out. And then some of the areas, that wouldn't have been the end of the world because we always have some pockets that have water in them in the spring. But around all those spots, we did quite a bit of damage to the alfalfa, getting the alfalfa off, because it seemed like it was first and second cutting for sure. We really pushed it to get the crop off in time. It wasn't even in time really. It was a week late both times, but we were on the fields probably earlier than we should have been, but we had to get the crop off if we wanted to have some quality in the alfalfa. And then there was also some spots of winter kill, which I wasn't really expecting, but there were some higher spots where it was bare here this spring. So we made the decision to till it up. We're going to put manure on it here. The manure pumping crew actually just started bringing equipment here. I just saw them go by with the semi with some of their stuff. They have to go back for more, I think, but the plan is they're going to get started tomorrow morning. So we're going to try to get this quarter disked up here this afternoon. This afternoon and this evening. It's 4 o'clock now. I'd started on it here right around lunchtime. Sam took over for me, and I'll probably take over for him later when he goes home, if he's not quite done yet. But the plan is to till it up, put liquid manure on it, and then I think we're possibly could be seeding some wheat here in a few days. We're going to put some wheat in for the first time. It's going to be fertilized tomorrow, and then should be able to start prepping that for seeding, and then maybe later this week or this weekend could be putting some corn in the ground here, depending on a neighbor of ours, Tyson. Tyson will be seeding and planting the wheat and the corn for us, so it'll kind of depend on where he's at as well on his own acres. But tentatively, that's the plan here. Just wanted to show you guys this here quick. Would have liked to get the drone in the air, but it's too windy for that. But should definitely be able to do that here tomorrow or Thursday when we're putting manure on. We just have this one quarter here that the alfalfa is on, and then there was 85 acres that we didn't have enough manure for in the fall that we're also going to put liquid manure on this spring. So it should only be, it'd be a day and a half that they'll be here, but should go pretty quick in theory once they get going. So we'll maybe catch back up with you guys tomorrow once we're putting liquid manure down. It's the next day here. I'm out in the alfalfa field where we're putting manure on. I did put my drone up in the air here this morning when I had a few minutes, so I'll put that in the video here after I'm done talking. But I just wanted to show you guys here quickly. I was going to go over where they're pumping, but they're down there. I think they might either have a breakdown or they're switching the tractor over to the next 40 acres. But this was pumped on here this morning. Just wanted to show you guys. So last year, if you remember, we had put manure on with a Coulter style machine, and we've used a Coulter style machine the last couple of years, and I'd asked Jerry if it'd be possible to go back to a shank style. Jerry is our custom manure pumper, just to get that manure down a little deeper and get the coverage, get it covered a little bit better. And this definitely looks a lot better than it did with that Coulter machine. It's getting that manure more into the ground and covered up, like right where you still see some that's up above if it's making a little bit of a bigger slot, but like right here where I'm standing, that manure is almost fully covered and down into the ground. And conditions are really good as well right now, but if you look across, we're really doing a good job getting that manure incorporated into the soil, which is what we want. So this will sit for probably 4 or 5 days, let it dry out, and then gonna plant some corn here. At least that's the plan anyways. just started working up a field with our field cultivator here a couple hours ago. That's going to be seeded to wheat potentially tomorrow. So I'm gonna go check that out. I had started with Sam, and then there's a couple of gauge wheels on that cultivator. Wasn't sure if we were gonna use them. And I did want to, once we got going, they're kind of made to keep the wings from bouncing. And it did seem like it was helping, but one of the tires was flat, so I just went and had that tire fixed. So I'm gonna go run that out to Sam. Fertilizer was spread on there this morning, so we're gonna get that incorporated and get it prepped for seeding tomorrow. So we'll go check that out here as well. The next day, we made quite a bit of progress. Just about done with this field. I think he quit around 9:30 last night. Should be able to get this done here in the next hour or so. And Scott is coming to seed this here. We prepped the whole west half of this field yesterday because I knew he'd be coming later this morning to start here. So he'll seed that west half first and then come to this east half probably after lunch or so, mid-afternoon, depending on how things go. He's finishing up a quarter of theirs now and then heading over here. So we'll be putting wheat in the ground here at some point today. The manure pumping crew finished last night. They already have all their stuff cleaned up. They're heading to the next job, to a hog barn. They will be back later. We've got a quarter of rye that we're planning to harvest for silage and then put liquid on, and then that will go to sorghum Italian ryegrass mix after we put the manure on, but that'll be early June more than likely, depending on how quickly that rye grows. But I think we'll end the video here. If you guys have questions, comments, post them down below. It's kind of bumpy here getting out of this field. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.